Okay, there we go. Palpamemes. Hey, thank you so much for joining. I've touched base with you a couple of times over months, and then it just kind of falls off the radar. I thought it would be fun to have a discussion with you. I enjoy your content. I think you're a great guy, and I was like, I need to touch base with that dude sometime. And so this week we're able to make it happen. And of course, Levi and Johnny, real good friends. Thank you both for being here again this week. And I see the gold man's here. You bring Palpamemes in, you get his friends. So gold man, thank you so much. And part of our show today is inspired by the gold man. We're going to have a discussion about what are your Star Wars hot takes. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But good to see you. Good to see you as well. Yeah. Meg, I think it's great Santa's babysitting today. I know. All three of them are younger than my oldest daughter. So what am I?
Maybe.
Sure.
No, my oldest daughter's 30.
Okay. Yep.
Definitely.
I won't.
A little bit older. Yeah.
Accurate.
Sure.
Yeah, and I know, Levi, you're just younger than my youngest. My youngest is also 21. But she turned 21 in February.
Oh, there you go.
So you were just younger than her. So, it's very good. Hey, we have some new photos that came out. We'll start with a little discussion on Andor, and I want to share these photos. Meg covered them this morning, and so it's always nice to catch Star Wars Meg's content every day. It's the first thing I look for every day, and I look for her the notice of her videos going live. So we've got these photos. The first one here, you see Cassian hiding behind. It looks like a part that was on like a conveyor belt, and so he's hiding behind that, and we got some blaster shots. I'm trying to make out in the background. I can't quite tell back here if this is a droid, a mech, a person. Okay, do you guys have a sense for what that is?
I think that might be deceptive. I think that's just a part of that wreckage there, because in the trailer we see this scene, and it looks like people are shooting down from him from above. I don't think that's anything. I think that's just part of the scenery.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's just Rebel.
But it does, Santa. When you pointed it out, I went, "Oh wow, what is that?" But I think that my eyes are making something out of nothing.
I had to look for a second, but I do think that going off of the trailer, I think it's just
Yeah, it very well could be where you're getting a shape here, like a head, an arm, but that very well could be. And then the second picture, another one of Mon Mothma,
gorgeous,
coming through the hall.
Love it.
Oh, and there's been a lot of talk about how cinematic this show is going to be, how good it looks, and how much they used real sets. Physical sets.
Didn't use the volume at all.
That's what he said, but he's wrong. They did.
Yeah, volume is certainly used, but very
he
low
clarified
extent.
today.
Yeah.
He clarified today, because they've been interviews since, that the content of his quote initially was not that the volume is some sort of bad technology or anything like that. Just that you have to choose to either be a volume show or a non-volume show at the beginning of production, and that they did make use of it at points. You can see in this trailer there are shots that look like volume shots, but it's not entirely based on it. So
let me take that back. Part of it is when you see the shot of her sitting on this couch back here. There's another scene in the trailer, and Jason Ward validated this for us, verified it, that when she's sitting on that couch, they're in the volume. All the back behind her, the Coruscant back there is the volume. It's not done in green screen.
No, Santa, they built a real Coruscant. You don't know this, right? They have a budget. Coruscant is real.
That's what I heard. Yeah, they did use the volume for some of it, for sure. And so here we see this B2 emo, right? The family droid that's been there for some time, and this shot. I think it's this actress here that has caused the ruckus.
Yes, she has.
Yes. So we've kind of talked about that. For Cachelo Lopez, Mr. Lopez from Argentina, good to see you, my friend. And he was our very first giveaway winner. He won all kinds of stuff. He's got business partners in Florida. Mr. Lopez, have you made it to Florida to get your stuff yet? I sent a big box of toys down there for him to get. Hopefully he's been able to get that. So, so she calls the ruckus. And I've had a great amount of interaction with some of Thor Skywalker's community over the last 24 hours because some people say things that aren't true. And then I say things that are true, and then they want to argue with me about it. So
sounds like a Star Wars community.
That sounds familiar, Santa.
It was an interesting way to frame that.
Well, it's interesting because there are folks. It is as the label shill, right? I get called that all the time, especially when I get into some of these discussions with folks, and I say we'll talk about our Star Wars hot takes here in a minute. But when I tell them some of my hot takes, they're like, "Oh, I see. You're blah, blah, blah." And then I have to defend myself, and they're like, "Well, name me this or name me that." And they start challenging your fandom. And then they're like,
who Revan is?
Yeah, exactly. Well, name me one sequel trilogy character that fill in the blank, right? And if you answer the question, then they'll tell you why that's a bad character. Right. And then if you answer the question again, they'll again tell you why you're an idiot. Right. So that happens. It's great. So I love being able to hang out with folks who can actually have some nuanced conversation without name calling. It's great. And I know that folks on the other side of the fandom get name called by people on our side of the fandom. And that doesn't make that right either. So I just kind of embrace the shill moniker, say, fine. You want to call me a shill? I'll take it. And maybe one day Disney will send me a check. But for now...
I'm still waiting on mine. I mean, it's like 2 years late. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, Palpamemes, you need like a name plaque at this point for
Dude, they need to pay me for the stuff I've done for them. Like, come on.
They gotta reimburse you. They gotta reimburse you for that billboard with the amount that comes up.
Damn.
I know.
Look at this still.
What are y'all doing? I'm
You see that
waiting.
person? Yeah.
It's good. So this lady's caused a problem, right? So there's a big kerfuffle over what she has said, and it had to do with some Trumpian kind of messaging that was inspired in the filming. Now, whether remember, it's this lady, not the director, not the writers. It's one of the actors on the set who wanted to make these parallels. And I was listening to Dinner Nerds this morning, and I thought Josh was pretty balanced in how he covered it. All it does is cause a dust up where, once the dust settles, you're like, oh, I think we can move forward. Somebody comes out, says something, and boom, the dust is in the air again, right? I'm not going to take any issue with what she said because I think, and I was making this argument with Thor Skywalker's folks for the last 24 hours, basically, maybe 20 hours, that George Lucas, for the original trilogy, was very clear that he took some inspiration in some of the themes throughout the original trilogy had to do with the Vietnam War and anti-Nixon stances. So he was a big anti-Nixon dude, and the messaging in there against the Vietnam War and Nixon's policies. He saw them as being empirical, right? Like the U.S. was acting like establishing an empire, and he was trying to put that messaging into Star Wars, at least to some degree. And sure, Star Wars has many, many layers, and he takes inspiration from all kinds of things. Not just, it wasn't a political narrative movie, right? He didn't create it as a political narrative, but that's certainly part of his inspiration behind the story. It's clear, and he can directly map characters to political institutions, politicians, and so on, right? The same is clear of the prequel trilogy. He wasn't a fan of Bush and Cheney.
I mean, in the prequels, he literally names characters after prominent political figures he didn't like at the time. So,
Disney Star Wars hasn't gone that far, but we'll see. We'll see if they reach that level.
Exactly, and I think by Andor saying, even if it is 100% legitimate and it's not just this actress's opinion, it's likely to play out in the same way that the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy did, in its timeless kind of motives of an empire enforcing its power over people groups, and those people groups happen to be refugees. And it's been my stand that I think the parallels to what's going on right now, the war in Ukraine, will be more relevant than the Trump things. Trump's not president anymore, and this was written before the war in Ukraine began, but that just shows the timeless nature of it. It's not going to be in a box where 20 years from now, when Trump is long, part of memory, it's not going to be irrelevant. That's my take.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, art imitates life, and it always has been from the beginning of time, since art was a thing created by anyone. Any artist is inspired by something in real life, whether that's politically, socially, anything. And so it's just this silly idea that suddenly, I don't know when they started this whole woke thing, but ever since 2015, we'll say, because I remember that's when that kind of idea started popping up, that, now these artists are forcing their political agendas onto us. It's like, no, art imitates life. It's always been that way. If you don't see that, then you're not either A, properly watching the films or listening to the music or whatever it is, or B, you're just naive and in denial. And I see that a lot. And it's like, I'm not saying I agree with everything George did, but when it comes to his prequels, I know we can talk about the originals, but the prequels especially, they were more direct with his political understandings and views. And again, people are in denial about that, and it's like, no, it's right there. Imagine if in Disney Star Wars there was a movie, say in episode 9, and there's a line written in episode 9 that's directly taken from something that, I don't know, Joe Biden or Donald Trump said, like a very famous line that was very controversial. Well, that's what happened in Revenge of the Sith with "If you're not with me, you're my enemy." That was directly inspired and written almost word for word from George Bush, I believe. It was after the 9/11 attacks. I believe that's when he said. I could be off on that, but it's always been a thing, especially with Star Wars. I mean, it's Star Wars. I mean, come on, guys, what are we doing? Getting mad at
there's
politics.
There's an example I learned when I was in college. I went on a tour in Europe. We went, and when we were in Italy, we went to the Vatican, and part of that whole thing, we went into Sistine Chapel, one of the most iconic pieces of artwork in human history, right? And in that room, one of the paintings shows some of the politicians of the day, right? It's very clear who they were, being drug into hell. Okay, I'm like.
SJW.
They were woke back in woke artists in 1300.
You don't get more direct in your messaging than that, right? Like, you imagine having like part of the scene, somebody that looks like Trump being actually drug into hell, right? Like, okay, this has been around forever. This isn't modern. Throwing politics into your art or into artists have been doing this for ages, go to the Sistine Chapel and do some homework.
Yeah, the one I like
Nah,
to bring
man.
up.
It's
No,
new world order, new wave.
is, yeah. In Phantom Menace, like Phantom Menace has Newt Gunray and Lot Dodd are the viceroy and senator for the Trade Federation, respectively. And George just said it's Newt Gingrich and Frank Dodd and Chris Dodd of the who was a senator at the time, and Newt Gingrich was Speaker of the House. And it's like that he just took their names and made them the villains of the movie.
Exactly.
I don't know how much more on the nose you have to get. But like that stuff, but to your point, Santa, that stuff doesn't hold up on to a child 20 years later. They don't make that connection, and nor did I even at the time, only a few years removed. So in 20 years, if Andor has a Trumpian theme, it'll apply to whatever's going on then, just as the original trilogy, even though when writing it in those meetings, you can read the behind the scenes. Like George literally says, Palpatine is Richard Nixon. You don't have to understand it with that lens, because it applies to all of these struggles, because that's how good Star Wars is. But it is explicitly this messaging, though.
Exactly.
It doesn't change the story. It's the same story. The story is going to be, whether it's influenced or not by real world ideas and issues and stuff. It's still a story, And
Valorum was Bill Clinton, but
yeah,
that's another one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just it's let's wait and we'll see when it comes out, if it's direct, like heavy-handed, ham-fisted, in your face kind of politics, and then we can discuss it in the context of art, and in the context of cinema, and in the context of entertainment. Did it work? How did they execute it? How well was it done? The Sistine Chapel is a timeless piece of art that was very political.
I don't imagine it being like too overbearing with that sort of stuff.
I don't either.
At least just reading it from what we know about the show. I don't know.
Hey, LB is here again. As friends with LB, I heard LB is not a POC. He's actually a black man. That's what I heard. LB gets the joke. He understands. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
All good.
First of all, I love these Joe Biden comments. These have me cracking up. That quote, America can be described in one word. They just
It's a great
That's
clip.
so good. I've got that video saved. That's anyways. Not to sidetrack. I saw that comment. It got me.
Yeah, and Trump gave us plenty too. What was the one tweet that he had?
How could I forget?
Yeah, Kerfefe. Kerfefe. Yeah,
I've got
Kerfefe. Yeah.
This is an account called Donald Trump Tweets on Twitter, and I love it. I mean, his tweets go back to like 2012, and he hasn't changed. They're insane. It's so funny. Anyways.
All right, so we got a couple of other photos here from Andor. Again, just we saw this village, and then this last one. Again, these are just stills from Empire Magazine. Overall, I am super excited for Andor. I'm anxious to see a spy thriller set in the Star Wars universe. But that is the thing that got my attention from the get-go. Like, why would anybody care about people that die? We already know how this ends. But a spy thriller in Star Wars, I'm super excited to see it.
Yeah, me too. I have been dying to see this show. I mean, obviously, I think everybody was pretty iffy on it from the beginning when they announced it. They're like, "Oh, an Andor show? Like, why are we doing that? It doesn't really quite make sense." But then, after looking into like the team behind the show and like how the show is being, how the show is like being dealt with, so they're doing it in arcs and all this stuff. I think it is. I'm super excited. The team is insane.
Johnny,
I'm looking forward to it.
Are you possessed?
Am I dead freeze? Oh no.
Yeah, you froze.
It's. I was talking.
It is. Yeah, you can't.
Your audio.
You'll have to watch it. You'll have to watch it on the replay. It's fantastic.
Okay, awesome. Well, there we go. That's my piece. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you.
It was great. To change topics just a little bit, a little bit of fun. is I got to a Patreon topic. Now, I have a Patreon server, and you can support the channel through there for as little as $1 a month, or you can be like some of our friends here who support me at $10 a month. That is great. But on there, you can submit show topics and chats that I'll cover on the next live stream. And this one's fun. It came to us from I didn't put down the sponsor. Let me pull that up. I want to give credit where credit's due, and pull it up on Patreon. But the question for all of you is, in all fairness, who would win in a lightsaber duel, Darth Vader or the Emperor? What do you think?
A good question.
Purely lightsaber?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Richard Todd. Richard Todd submitted that.
The first frame of reference I have is actually they just did a duel in a flashback in the most recent issue of Star Wars 25, and Palpatine won the duel. But this was very early Vader. But a peak, both of their peaks.
Both.
I think like if it's purely lightsaber, I think Palpatine honestly might take it.
Palpatine. If it's purely lightsaber, I would agree. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Vader still exists before he gets in the suit.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, we could be Anakin.
So it depends on when you're talking, because
Yeah.
we're talking episode 3.
I think
young
that-
Lee murder. Anakin,
I still think
Vader.
Palpatine though, because
No, I think Youngling Murder would kick Palpatine's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you think
That's
so?
yeah.
I mean, Mace
But
Windu was able to
purely
beat him.
based off of lightsaber. I don't know, man.
Because Mace Windu
I
was able
think-
to beat him, and Anakin at that time was just so brimming with like that dude was insane.
I just think of like Clone Wars and like that.
I know that's what I was saying.
Maul.
Palpatine versus Vader, Palpatine takes it. Like Palpatine versus Maul and Savage gives me everything I need to know. Palpatine is taking the take there.
Here's my ultimate take. No matter what happens, Vader can't lose. You want to know why? Because he's the chosen one. So it doesn't matter. He can't
True.
lose because the Force needs him to bring balance. So think about it that way.
In this
He
hypothetical,
won't allow him to.
Chosen one trope.
That's
Yeah.
Definitely one argument for sure.
Well, I definitely say Anakin before the suit, right after knighted, should he go into a lightsaber duel with Palpatine, just lightsaber to lightsaber, Anakin wins. After that, Palps.
yeah.
Okay.
That's where I am there. So, and then we have another Patreon. This came from Ducky Momo. Ducky asked me a question
lucky
the other
ducky
day.
himself.
Yeah, exactly. He wins all of our giveaways. But Ducky asked a question the other day, like if I couldn't pull the sleigh with blurgs, what other Star Wars character or creature would I use? And that was a fun question. So today he's got a little bit of a different take. He says, let me share this on the screen. Hold on one second. I'll put it over here so you all can read along. I just love the. Here we go.
How long is it?
The-
Read along.
It's pretty good.
Wow. Okay.
So, he says, Broom Boy is at it again. First the blurgs, and now he's come back to unionize the elves. Why does this kid hit Christmas so much? After you complete your layoffs due to these unprecedented times, you need to rebuild the workforce. You reach out to your old friends on Camino and wisely turn down the discount Jar Jar DNA. So, who do you choose for the cloning process to replace the elves? A little warning at the bottom. Don't say Rey or you'll never live down the harem. So, look, Ducky knows that I am a big Rey simp. Rey Skywalker is my favorite character in all of the movies, but that's me. So it's not Rey. Who do I pick? Well, this one to me seems pretty simple. And before I answer, I'll give the three of you a chance. Who do you think I should send to Camino to be cloned to replace the elves?
Hey, firstly, 10 points to whoever in chat can give me the name of Broom Boy, his actual name. He does have one.
Yeah.
I think, it would be funny if it was like Watto or something, like, hey, we're making a toy here, and then like they're passing around, give me that pod, they're all flying around, I could see them.
Awada would take over the whole place and take
like
all
little
the profit.
Yeah, that little like the hats he had, like it has an.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, okay, I got one. one. I would either do, I would probably do Dexter Jester, because he has multiple arms and he can just do everything at once. He can do whatever, buddy. He can do whatever you want. He can. Like he's got 4 arms. He's got plenty mobility there. I would say him. I think.
Excellent. Palpamemes.
I would say Grogu, and you make like 10,000 Grogus, and you give them all out for Christmas.
You
just make them, and then they are the toy.
They are the gift.
We don't need to build anything. They don't need to build anything.
That's quite brilliant. For me, the easy answer is Babu Frick. Babu Frick is the perfect, right? He can build the electronics. He can build toys.
That's the right answer. All our answers.
That's good.
That's the right answer.
just for the sake of it, I was gonna add Meeber Gascon as well. So.
Oh no! Then Santa would have to find a replacement because
that guy.
Johnny knows. Yeah. Meeber Gascon is like my most hated character in all of Star Wars.
Oh, come on now.
So Meg sent in a $10 or £10 super chat. Thank you for that, Meg. Christmas feels so far away. Sometimes I watch a bearded man on the internet talking about Star Wars. It reminds me that Santy will come to my town in a few months. Thank you, Meg. I love you so much and appreciate all the support you give the channel. Fantastic. So that covers
his name. It's Tamari Blag. That's his name, everybody.
Yeah,
Tamari Blag.
Excellent.
So
does anybody get it?
In fact, Santa, do you want to know something? A quick little story, funny? Because everyone at the end of The Last Jedi, all the discourse was like, "Oh, what are they going to do with Broom Boy?" And I remember opening the visual dictionary and seeing Tamari Blag. I went, "Nothing. They named him that. They are never doing anything with this character ever." That's what I said. I went, "Nope. There it is." I went, "Look,
No, I was going to make a joke about naming it after a famous politician, but I won't. I'll just what name did they take Tamari Blag from? But the next topic we have was inspired by our friend the Goldman. If you've not seen his video on his 6 hot takes, strongly encourage you to go watch that. The Goldman did a fantastic job of covering those. I loved it. I actually agree with a number of them, not all of them, but a number of them. And I put it on our Discord, and I tried to start a chat there that got no traction. But in any event, I thought it would be fun, since we have all the shill power in the room here, that we could have a discussion inspired by the Goldman, not to review his 6, but rather what is your, and we can go on this for just a little while, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. What's your top Star Wars hot take? So it'd be equivalent to Goldman's number 1, right? So what's your number 1 hot take that fires up the fandom?
I should look at Goldman's list. I have not looked yet.
It's really good.
They're pretty hot.
Yes.
All right. I have to look. I'll look after the show. Curious.
Yeah. So Levi, what's your number 1 hot take that gets the fandom?
My number 1,
enraged?
I think my number 1 might be Goldman's number 6, which is that, or maybe that Rogue One is easily the worst Disney Star Wars movie. And honestly, to me, it's one of okay. When I say worst, I am a shill, so I love all of them because it's chill. Right. But it is my least enjoyed. I think that one, Rogue One, is like, it goes below most other Star Wars movies for me, including all of the Disney era ones. It doesn't connect with me that much. I don't go as far as Goldman, who says it has bad characters, therefore it's a bad movie. I don't agree with that. I think that's a little hot, but it's definitely down there. And with it, this is probably the hottest part. I think A New Hope is on the bottom of my list too. It's not the highest on my list. New Hope as well. Hot. I know. New Hope, not my thing. What can I say?
I find with the younger generations that the trend is that pretty down.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier. My youngest daughter says, "I don't get it. What, Dad? Why?" And so, she's 21. So I'm like, okay, well, you're young. You don't know. So, Johnny, what's your number 1 hot take?
I was thinking, and I had to really dig deep, and I think this might, I don't know how shocked you guys will be. I I like the Anakin and Padme romance in Attack of the Clones. I like the arc. I will admit the hill scene. That's the only scene I could argue that is maybe not good, but the rest of it I like. So
Excellent.
It works.
It is. Palpamemes.
Oh gosh, I don't know where to start. Meg's gonna hate me, and me and Meg always banter about this. The Rise of Skywalker is actually kind of a good film.
There you go. You're allowed to say that.
I don't know
Look,
if that's a hot take.
It's my
A lot of people
second
agree with
favorite
you.
Star Wars film. Maybe that's the hot take. It's my second favorite Star Wars film.
That's
That
a hot
said,
take.
Oh,
I think it's Johnny's least
Disney, release that original cut, please. I am tired of asking. Not
Yes.
that anyone's watching at Disney,
Give
but
us the Webbish bog cut.
we need that. Oh, there's so much. Oh, there's so much.
yeah.
There's so
Um,
much. Anyways, yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
The one that gets me in trouble is the one I mentioned before. Rey is my favorite Jedi in the entire saga out of all 9 movies, and the if you want to throw Rogue One in there, but Rey is my personal favorite, and I love her character. I love her story arc, and for those that say she has no character development, I vehemently disagree. I connect with her story and emotionally follow along the storyline, and when she's and kind of ride the roller coaster with her. So that's my number one hot take that gets me in trouble. Yes, I like her even better than Anakin and Luke.
I'm with you. I
So
think she's a great character. People keep saying she has no development or arc. I'm like, I don't care if you like her or not, but that's just wrong. You're just wrong at that point. You know. Hey, I'm not gonna get into that because
Yeah.
no, she's good. I like. She's probably my second or third favorite character. Luke's my number one.
Excellent.
So.
Excellent. Then that's fine.
There's Only. There he is. I knew Only would show up. I was waiting
Oh,
for it.
oh, he's
I was
pissed.
Star Wars only.
Oh, he's here.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I would
That
love to
takes
connect
someone
with
Only. He's like
Only
a.
sometime.
Oh.
He's like
I
a
think he
wish,
came
like
in
a
at the wrong
genie.
time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does he know?
No, he came in at the
No,
right
but
time.
Talking about hot takes
Oh.
on purpose.
Oh,
On purpose.
Only just a quick shout out. You got to check out where our tier list is at. You're gonna love it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
baby.
Oh, he
Ooh,
hated
tier
my
list,
tier list.
especially
It's in
especially
shambles.
this week. Yeah, especially this week.
So we've given our number one. Is there another hot take that you want to share?
Oh, I've got one. I've got one.
Go
that
ahead.
gets Fandom riled up, and it got Star Wars only real pissed at me.
Thank you, Meg.
Return of the Jedi is not a good movie. It's not.
Oh,
But
Hard disagree.
oh,
With that one.
the ending is perfection. But that does not excuse the rest of the movie. Hot take. People get mad at me for that.
That's
but-
hot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hot.
that
That's my
That's
fourth
yeah.
favorite Star Wars movie.
Dare I
Palpamemes.
say Attack of the Clones is more consistently written than... or
Oh,
better
Palpamemes.
written. Oh,
Whoa,
wow.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
He removed himself. He just removed himself. He said, "I'll see myself to the door." I didn't do
Leave
it.
now before I get shot.
I was with you up until you said that Attack of the Clones was better, more consistently written. That is, yeah, wow.
Oh, I have
Okay,
another one.
that was a hyperbole, okay? It's a bit of an exaggeration, but
All right, go ahead, Johnny.
I have another one, and this is more direct at you, Santa. Meeber is
I know.
my favorite. I guess one of my favorite side characters. In all.
I knew it was coming. Meaver Gascon.
I knew it was coming.
I don't understand.
This is
I
the
don't
last Meaver.
understand it.
I had
you know,
my green screen. I have a big picture of Meeber right now. I don't have my green screen right now.
It's true. He does that. That's not.
No,
I do that. I know.
no place in Star Wars for plankton. From
What, dude? Yes, there is. Come on now.
like it's my assertion that Meaver Gascon and plankton are one and the same.
All right.
They're
They're both great. I love them.
No, he's fine in a village under the sea, but he's not fine in Star Wars.
Now, Meg, Attack of the Clones is still below A New Hope on my list. Once again, shill, love them all. But another hot take is that Phantom Menace is above A New Hope on my list, and that's just me. Also,
Ooh.
Solo is a top 5 Star Wars movie, and I will die on that hill. I love Solo.
I'm triggered.
Nearly perfect. Phantom Menace is also up there. Phantom Menace is great.
So the one that gets me consistently in trouble after Rey being better than Anakin and Luke, as far as my favorites, is the sequels are better than the prequels. I'll take the worst sequel movie over the perceived best prequel movie every day of the week, all day. Ooh. So that's
in trouble. I grew up on the prequels, and I love the prequels, but I also kind of like the sequels. I actually really like the sequels. Both very controversial trilogies, and like I have both sides of the fandom fighting me. It's annoying.
Look at that face. Tell me that he's frozen. He's frozen.
Am I frozen again? No, I'm not.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
This is a Melvin summoning circle right now.
I can't even tell when I'm frozen because it says. Right. I'm sorry.
He's thinking about how his take is that the sequels are better than the prequels because the prequels are a worse trilogy. But I didn't say that. He did.
I did indeed.
You're just quoting.
I'm just quoting. It's tough though with the prequels and the sequels. Like the prequels, I grew up with them. I'm like Palpamemes, and they're so special in my heart. But as a trilogy, they kind of flow weird because you could watch Attack of the Clones without having seen Phantom Menace, and then Revenge of the Sith is like there's a 10-year gap and then a 3-year gap, and so as a trilogy, it kind of flows a little weird. Like, but it's the era is perfect. The era is my favorite era. The prequel era is the best era in my opinion. But then, yeah, the sequels like Force Awakens and The Last Jedi as like a thing, like the way they connect to each other is, in my opinion, awesome. But yeah. I don't know. It's tough.
Very good. Very good. Any others before we change topics? I got one more topic for us.
I've got so many.
Yeah.
How much? Yeah. Thank you for that. Fake fans.
Yeah. That's a new one. Yeah. Set of shows.
No, I get called that all the time. Not a real fan. I get called that all the time. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's all right.
My favorite is when they go, "When did you start watching Star Wars?" I get that all the time. Right. I'm like, when I was 3 years old.
Yeah, out of the womb.
Like, what are you talking about? When did I like? You just don't understand.
That always lands well with me too, because I was 10 years old, sitting in a theater in 1977. That's when I first saw Star Wars, but I'm a fake fan. That's okay.
No,
I'm all right.
You're not. You must have seen Star Wars at the first time with the sequels. That's what I get all the time. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Oh, you don't. Yeah. Well, and the fun one is you just have bad taste. It's okay. People can like, disgusting things. That's all right. I'm like,
it's okay to like it. Just know it's a bad movie and you really shouldn't like it, but it's okay that you like it.
Yes, that's I get that all the time. So it's
Star Wars fits with the hot take. ESB is your favorite? Oh my god. Get out of here, Fitz.
No taste.
I can't handle it. It's okay to like a bad movie.
Oh, it's good. So the next topic. And this was it's a fun one, and I think it has two answers to it, and we'll discuss it. It says, should Lucasfilm create animated content from existing published works, from Legends, from Canon? Should they create animated projects off of those published works?
Yes.
200 Argentinian currency says a prophecy that missed could have been, or something like that. A Star Wars Santa. You think Rey Skywalker could be the real deal, the real chosen one? She ended Palps. Also, I'll be getting the figures next month. Thank you for that, Mr. Lopez. I appreciate it. No, I don't think Rey. Well, I think she's part of the chosen one prophecy, but she's not the chosen one. The prophecy itself says through them, the balance will be brought, right? Through the chosen one. And to me, that's Anakin. Because through him, we got Luke, who yeeted Palpatine into the second Death Star. And through, you could say, his twin, right, Leia, we get Rey, who met him face to face in the last. And so I think that Anakin is the one that fulfills the chosen one prophecy, and it's through him that balance is brought to the Force.
He's here.
Home dog, yo.
Arrived. Yeah, Levi,
He made
Levi.
it.
Long have I
He made
waited.
it. Look, we knew he Palpamemes would be too much for him to resist. But I've been looking forward to the day when I get my Palpameme or my Darth Melvin shout out. Although I did get a very short cameo in one of his videos that I thought was great, and I actually enjoy Melvin's sense of humor. I think his content is funny and it's entertaining.
Watch his music videos. Everyone. His music videos are actually really funny.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're really good.
It was Gangster's Paradise, but it's
Gangster's Paradise, yeah,
Yes.
the gangster.
Yes.
Someone sent it to me. I was
Yes.
like, someone goes,
so
"Hey,
hard.
you made a diss track on you." I'm like, "Oh, you're lying," and they sound
Uh-huh.
like, "No way."
Yes.
I'm with you.
Shout out
so-
to Melvin. Shout out to
But
Melvin.
yeah, shout out to
It's
Melvin.
like
Thank you so much.
Like clockwork now on the streams. Melvin appearance.
It's so funny.
So animated works. Should Lucasfilm take published material and create animated works from them?
It's a okay. So the answer historically is technically already yes. A lot of people don't know this, but in 2008, when they were releasing the Clone Wars for the first time, the Clone Wars movie came out, and then the Clone Wars show followed into 2009. They also simultaneously released a Clone Wars comic book series, and in it was the Slaves of the Republic arc, which is about Zygeria, and they actually adapted that into a Clone Wars arc in season 4. That's something that happened. Henry Gilroy wrote those as a comic book, and then they adapted them. They changed stuff around, but they still adapted it. They were still faithful to the material, and that is what's going to happen with Ahsoka coming up with Tales of the Jedi, and it's already sort of happened with Canon in the comics, and I don't know. I feel like they're already actually.
The chat has been hilarious today.
Megan's such a
Pretty
comedian.
good.
It always takes you off
Funny.
guard. But yeah, I don't know. They're already doing it. They already do it. So
Yeah.
yes, I guess they already do it because Ahsoka's about to get made into a Tales of the Jedi episode. So
Yep.
Yeah, I think. It'd be
Well, and I think that's sort of the inspiration for the question as well. Go ahead, Palpameme. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just I'm with you. I think it'd be interesting. I'd like to see like the rise of Kylo Ren. I think those comics could be adapted. I know there's this pretty big controversy with Dave Filoni taking things that already exist in either comics or books, and when he makes them into his animation, he likes to change some things about that, and that doesn't sit well with some of the book community. So I would worry about that aspect. Is okay, which one's the canon version? I would assume the animated show or whatever would be the canon version. But that would be the only issue I can see happening. But that is if they change or retcon the canon and stuff. But I think it'd be interesting. I think there's a lot of I'm reading the Shadow of the Sith book, and it's phenomenal. And I think I'm like, man, I wanted to see this in an actual live action show with Donald Glover as Lando, and we can have Luke there and all that. I don't know if any of y'all have read it, but it's a pretty good book so far. I'm not super far into it, but it's a cool storyline. But it would have also been cool to see that in animated show. So yeah.
Lando in that book, man, so good. The way his arc ends is perfect.
I just got to where he's at that not casino, but the
the station in the, like, the bar.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Go ahead.
I would love to see that. People don't know I'm not a huge book reader. I have not read too many Star Wars books, so I'm hoping to change that. But I say that a lot. But yeah, no, I mean Levi's right. It already is kind of sort of happening. So it wouldn't be a huge change, but yeah, I'm certainly interested in it. But the only thing, again, the only fear is that it changes the already established book canon. So
yeah, I'm rereading the Ahsoka novel for the third time because of these leaks about Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I can't remember some of the details. I certainly remember the story arc and what happens, but there's a couple of scenes that are described in the leaks that I don't remember precisely how it was in the book. And going back and rereading the book again, I'm reminded of the differences even between the Clone Wars animated series 7, right, season 7, where she gets her sabers back from Anakin and she meets Maul. It's entirely different in the book. She does get the sabers from Anakin, and she does meet Maul. That's the only similarity. But it's quite
isn't
different.
that the green? Aren't they green instead of blue?
Green.
right?
They're green, and then she meets him and traps him in an energy field.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, ray shield.
Not I've
And
read. I can.
yeah,
look up
she kind of lures him into it, just backing up, and he's going.
So in the case of Ahsoka, though, because I'm a particular, I'm a canon junkie, and these things usually bother me when stuff changes. But in the case of the Ahsoka novel, it is never, particularly with that novel, only because it was Dave's story. He never thought he would be able to finish it, and then he told E.K. Johnson some of the details about Siege of Mandalore. And then when Dave actually got a chance to do the thing he needed to do, like anytime Dave Filoni, the guy who helped create this character, gets a chance to do the Ahsoka story he never thought he could do, I'm okay if it rewrites the novel that he thought this is the one last thing that maybe we'll get out there. But that's just that's how it goes. The creator of the character is going to make stuff.
Now I know Meg's autocorrect changed the word, which is fantastic. Makes it better. Because this is much better. When Rey goes to Pandora, she meant Pantora, right? But she said
she means like Pandora from like Avatar.
Avatar.
Oh, I was thinking the
Both work,
jewelry
honestly.
store.
Oh, I guess no, but both are blue people.
Both
yeah,
work.
wow. Oh, wow, yeah.
Either way,
Yeah,
I don't know if it was intentional, but I mean, either way, she's
Meg
right.
said herself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Meg's right.
I was going to wonder. I thought she was going to go a jewelry joke line, like
Oh, I see.
But
Yeah. No, Pandora's like the home world in Avatar as well.
yeah.
Music streaming service, but yeah.
That too. There's a lot of Pandora.
That too.
I was a little confused.
Oh yeah.
So for me, I would love to see them take, especially some of the Legends content, and turn those published works. So comics and novels, and turn them into animated works. So the easy, like the low hanging fruit, is Tales of the Jedi, right? So we have a Tales of the Jedi series being released that's not Tales of the Jedi, the comic book series, right? It's very different. So I would love to see them continue Tales of the Jedi into season 2, 3, 4, 5, keep going, and to take the novels. I've got them sitting here. Here they are, right? Tales of the Jedi.
Yep.
These old comics and turn them into animated, and you could label them Legends. I'm fine with that too. So would you only want to see them do it with Canon published works, or also Legends, and label it as such?
I would love to see Legends, because I think it's, for a lot of like maybe incoming fans, it's something that's quite forgotten, because I think a lot of people focus on Canon now, and to explore Legends, and then again they can keep it separate. Like, it's definitely possible for them to keep it separate from Canon, which I'm totally fine with. I would love to see some Legend stories done in animation. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Yeah. Palpamemes, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm more of a Canon guy. I'm always on the idea, if you're going to create content, create it in Canon, so that has more sustainability and importance. But I understand the other side of the argument. I get there's some things that just can't be Canon. So like Visions is a good example. I thought Visions was pretty cool. It's a cool idea. It was fun. They had some good stuff in it. So I'm definitely okay with Legends, but I would prefer more Canon than not. Plus, it confuses people. So
I think if you make it clear, like, and you can call it Star Wars Legends, and then the story, I don't know, but I understand your point.
Go ahead, Levi.
I'm more with Palpamemes in the sense that it is, because as someone who reads both Canon and Legends, when its story is not about the main characters, I have almost no problem with it. That this is a separate continuity. I can enjoy the story. But when it's like stuff with Han, Luke, and Leia, sometimes, especially when you're reading it, like not a comic, so there's no visual, it's hard for me to be like, right, this character hasn't experienced that thing, just because of the way you think about a character so strongly and what we know now, and then going back to something that isn't. It's like you have to get in a whole different mindset. But maybe that's just me. And to talk, I might butcher the name. Not Lewisk brought up in chat. He said, "Fair point, Levi. But what about Zahn and Thrawn?" I think the test of this, if this can happen, will be what Dave does in Ahsoka with Thrawn, because Zahn is established not only in Legends, this persona, but in the Ascendancy trilogy and the new Thrawn trilogy, what this character is and what he's like and what he's done. And if Dave is able to pave over that stuff, then I don't think adaptations are likely anytime soon. But if he like pays lip service to it, maybe. I think that's the test.
Excellent. Could be. Excellent. I've also been of the opinion that why not continue Legends published material? So comics, novels from many of the authors that fans enjoy reading, and some of the storylines that fans enjoy reading, publish them with the Legends banner and allow those stories to continue. And for me, it's that for at least from a publishing standpoint, it feeds into revenue. Right? So you publish something, they buy it, you make a couple bucks, no harm, no foul, and it helps the fans that are passionate about those storylines to continue reading them.
Yeah.
And then I think as we know, like movies get typically more eyeballs than streaming content, which gets more eyeballs than animated content, which gets more live action streaming than animated, which gets more than published, right? As far as just consumption, fans, we don't get as many fans buying comics and novels that will go to see a theatrical release of a movie. So,
I think to your point, I think if this was to happen, I think it would be done in animation.
So Mike Porter come in late, said I thought it was Santa with his three sons. I kid. So much like Meg saying Santa's babysitting today. No, I'm accompanied by three very great Star Wars fans, people that I'm a fan of and appreciate, because Star Wars doesn't continue to survive if the fans all are my age. If we don't pass the torch to future generations, and if even the prequel fans that kind of grew up with them, so the Thor Skywalkers of the world, who were raised on those, if it stops with them, then Star Wars has no future. Fortunately, we have college age fans. We've got fans who are still in school, like public school, middle school, high school, elementary school, who are falling in love with this franchise and the characters. And Star Wars, to me, has a very, very bright future because of people like these three who have joined us today. So thank you so much for that.
Frozen Johnny.
Thank you.
Two people and one frozen guy.
Am I frozen again? Dude, I can't even tell, man.
You've been freezing this whole time, and every time it's funny.
Oh, it's so frustrating. I don't know why. Okay, I'm sorry.
Beware
Anyways,
of your facial
Santa?
facial expressions, Johnny, because you never know when it's going to freeze.
Let's go like this now. This is
Go ahead.
when I want to talk, I'll go like this. Anyways. Okay. Thank you, Santa, and that means a lot. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I do want to make sure I don't forget the Mike Porter dad joke, and we still have some time just for some open discussion. So the Mike Porter dad joke of the day, I had to tweak the wording just a little bit, Mike. So I see you in the chat, but I tweaked the wording, I think, to make it read a little bit better. It says, what did Yoda say after going through the drive-thru and finding his order was incomplete? Try not. Do or do not. There is no fry.
Oh, Santa, there's a great Burger King commercial that I think you'd love.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Okay,
man.
you want to hear about open discussion time? Yeah, we have a bunch of Attack of the Clones era commercials.
Oh, those
on
are great.
our StreamYard. They're so good. Your fries give Yoda.
So there's one where Yoda's sitting at a counter at a Burger King with a bar with this guy next to him, and then he has some fries, and
he
Yoda
starts
turns to him and he goes like, "Those fries."
And
so he just starts eating the fries. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'd love to imagine
fully CGI prequel Yoda.
Yeah, it's full CGI. I'd love to imagine
it looks
Rob
movie quality.
Coleman, Rob Coleman and that whole animation team sitting and animating the Yoda at the bar.
The Burger King
good.
commercial. Yeah, it's insane.
Good.
Sorry, that's what made me think of.
That's good. That's good. Palpamemes, thank you so much for joining us today. It's the first time that we've been able to do something together. I really do appreciate the work you do. I look forward to watching your content, and of course, the infamous Ray billboard at Times Square.
Everyone always brings that up.
Well, that was look. It was tremendous, and I loved it. And I thought it was, as I mentioned, Ray is my very favorite Jedi in the entire saga. My favorite character in the entire saga, and to see you sponsor that billboard was wonderful. I was like, that is it's still a highlight, and I appreciate it.
I'm glad it worked out. Yeah, it was
excellent.
Fun. It was fun.
Excellent. Any other topics you guys want to discuss? Anything else before we close out?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, nothing really. It'll be crazy September 21st when we'll have 2 hours of Star Wars content.
That'll be a fun day.
That's really a movie. And I can't wait to.
Quite a lot to cover, though.
Yeah, it's be a lot to cover. A whole movie. It's a movie worth. And Diego Luna was on, I think, The View, and said each episode is around, it's in the 40-minute range. So that's literally 2 hours. That's 120 minutes of Star Wars content.
Well, and that fits with what Jason Ward has told us from Making Star Wars. Jason has assured us these are going to be in the same range that all the other shows have been. 40 minutes, give or take. You may get a 52, you may get a 37, but they'll be in that 40-minute range. And when you just average that out over 3, even without the intro and the outro, right, the credits, you're still pushing 2 hours of content that night. That's a movie. And it's one of the things I think is super exciting about Andor as a whole. 12 episodes. That's a trilogy, right? Really, when you think of it, right? The first 3 are basically a movie. Every 3 is another movie. You get 12 episodes first season. There's a trilogy, and we get 2 more seasons.
One more
season. Yeah, one more. I went back. One more season after this, which is another trilogy.
And then you can watch Rogue One. So
and then you can watch Rogue One. Yeah.
You can watch Rogue One. Exactly.
I think the show, you will have a completely different look at Rogue One from this show.
And Tony Gilroy has said as much, where he wants you to view, and I'd been saying this before, Johnny has as well, but because Rogue One isn't my favorite, I've always felt like Rogue One drags for me because it feels like the finale to a TV show I had never watched. I was like, who are all these characters? Like, you're throwing me into the very end of their story. But now with this show, it'll literally be a finale to a TV show that you can watch. That's 24 episodes. And he said as much that you should feel like it hits different now. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see Rogue One in a different way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it Tales of the Jedi supposed to drop before Andor? No. It's supposed to drop before the end of the year, but not before
One of these
Andor.
days it'll drop.
Yeah, I think Andor is the next. And Jedi Mike, every 3 episodes is a year. That's in season 2.
2.
Yeah. So season 1 starts 5 years before, and so 5 BBY, give or take, whatever. And then every 3 episodes in season 2 is a year leading up to. And it's supposed to end, season 2 is supposed to end directly into Rogue One. Much like Rogue One ends directly into A New Hope. So same thing there. Let's see, what else we got in chat? Hawks Holocrons. He says, has Santa started manufacturing clones to replace the elves? And Meg says, yes, they're on screen. No.
Right.
BBY, before the bashing of Yaddle.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, wow, that's a spoiler.
Yeah, well, just wait.
Well, exactly. Meg is still coping with Yaddle's demise.
Sad.
In the new canon. All right. Well, I think that does it for us today. Thank you all again for being here. Palpamemes, you're invited back anytime. Every Thursday, we'll be doing this if you're available. please join us. It is a lot of fun to talk about Star Wars and to focus on the content of Star Wars. That's what we like to do, rather than kind of rage about social
something.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun to talk about content and joke and have fun. So thank you all for that. I'm going to hit the outro. I think I've fixed the deal with the audio. So we've got Darth Elvis leading us into the outro. I'll put you guys into the back room. If you want to hang out, feel free. Otherwise, we'll talk to you next time. All right. Until next time, my friends, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.
Hot dang! Talking through the news from a galaxy far away. Toys and book reviews, positivity all the way. Come and join the fun, subscribe and like away. Movie news and show reviews, it's like Christmas every day. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Ho, 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 ho. Hot damn, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat tonight on the Star Wars Santa show. He can feel your presence. So join the chat, loosen up and have some fun with Star Wars Santa.
I see it, Wentz. Good work.
Talking through the news from a galaxy